wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans. Professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up. This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's 13-14.
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.
Friends, men, women, country, wrestling fans all over the world. I have no idea where that was going. I was going to go Romans, but there was no Romans watching this show. But if you are watching this show or listening to this podcast, thank you so much. My name is Anthony Walker. Welcome to the 103rd episode of the Wrestling Matters Podcast. Yay! Hope you are well. On today's show, we're going to talk Raw, we're going to talk Smackdown, we're going to talk NXT, TNA, Ring of Honor, and yes, ICW. And it was very eventful this week in wrestling this week. Raw was Raw, SmackDown was SmackDown, NXT was itself as well. Title change in TNA, more on that later. Yes, a little spoiler alert, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I'm sure you've already seen it and already listened to it and already watched it and already know. But there's a new heavyweight champion of the world in TNA, more on that later. Also Ring of Honor as well, like I say, and yeah, we're going to throw in ICW as well. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, spoiler alert, there is a brand new ICW heavyweight champion of the world, courtesy on the Friday Night Fight Club. More on that later on in the show. How are we all doing? Hope you're well. I've got some news to go through, but I want to do a little quick recommendation as well. But before I do that, be sure to check out Max Wrestling Podcast. Be sure to check out Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast and Offshoot Radio and all the crew, all the familia in the Swerve Talk Network, ladies and gentlemen. You know where we are. You know how we do. You know what we do. Evan McCabe's podcast, Max Wrestling, like I say, Sunday Segway, and the list goes on and on. Be sure to check all that out as well, because that's what we do. I think it's Friday. It starts from Friday and goes right the way through to Monday. So that's where you're going to listen to all these great podcasts. There's one on Friday. I believe there's one Saturday as well. I think there's one Friday or Saturday. It's one of them. I know McCabe is up first. There's about 3 on a Sunday, and there's one on Monday. Yours truly. So, be sure to check all that out as well and all that good stuff, because that's how we do. We are, like I've said many, many times, and like James Belmont once said, we are the elite in podcasting. Hope you guys are well as well. And also check out Max Mystery Island as well. Be sure to check all that out as well. We are literally a week away from Chris Masters being there, so be sure to check all that goodness out as well. I'll give you all the links to them later, Mystery Island as well later on. But I want to give a recommendation. You see, this week I've had a busy week, by the way, with the football and that. Friday night I had, oh boy, probably felt like the longest day of my life. Friday I was up at 9:30, went round my auntie's house to catch up and how she's doing and everything, suffering from cancer and shit like that. But she's alright now. She's still her normal self. Nothing could stop. Believe you me, it's going to take more than illnesses and that to stop my auntie. Believe you me. But she's cool. And I went round and discussed a little personal matter as well, that we talked about the last time I spoke to her, before that day. And then I came home, did a little bit of podcasting here and there, and then I went to the work. So it was like the longest day of my life. And then I came home, had my tea, went straight to bed. But that week, I don't know if you guys were aware of this, there is an app, a WWE app that's out. And I'm talking about the WWE app that they tell you about on Monday nights to go and check out, and they expect you to download to go and watch Monday Night Raw during the commercial break. You'd be best off putting that on the website, but anyway, there's this thing called WWE Supercard. I've downloaded it and I've tried it, and good God, it's addictive. Luge Mania, YouTube, who covers most Raw. She does like little clips and commentaries on Raw and Smackdown and shit like that. She's, posted stuff like that on YouTube, and I've seen it a few times. It never appealed to me, but I tried it this week, downloaded it, and boy, oh boy, is addictive. Good God, I've been hooked on it. Getting these cards, Shawn Michaels purple cards, Bam Bam Bigelow cards and stuff like that as well. It's a very addictive game, and if you enjoy that kind of stuff as well, and you've seen check out Luge Mania on YouTube. Look her up as well, and check out the Supercard stuff as well. This is season 2, I believe. I wasn't around for season 1, but I believe this is season 2. So be sure to check that out as well, man. It's awesome. It's a great game, great little card game. How to build your cards up, like train them up to build them to be superior to whoever you're facing and whoever the opponent is and stuff like that. It's a really, really good game. Good little card game as well. And I've been very, very, very addicted to it this week because I've been playing it a lot. A couple of hours here and there as well. Speaking of games as well, be sure to check out my Gamers Matter channel as well, youtube.com/Gamers Matter channel for future live streams, gaming content, and series that you guys will enjoy as well. So be sure to check that out, youtube.com/Gamers Matter channel. Thought I'd throw that in since I was talking about the computer game. Congratulations are in order, ladies and gentlemen, to one Hulk Hogan. That's right. His lawsuit against, I hope I say this right, Gawker, spelled Gawker. Apparently these guys published the supposed sex tape between him and Bubba the Love Sponge's wife that went on. There was a supposed sex tape. Bubba the Love Sponge takes it, and apparently got their hands on it and published it. And obviously Hogan didn't take too kindly to that and won his $100 million lawsuit. So congrats to him on that. Also, I'm checking all these news, see if there's anything that's come up in the world of professional wrestling this week. Now, let's have a look at what we could talk about today. Statement is in, yada yada yada. WWE announces Cesaro's return. The Cesaro return. It'll be on the it'll be April 15th. He is scheduled to return, whether that will be or not. So April 15th will be the return of Cesaro, hopefully. A lot of people are commenting on the lawsuit win for Hulk Hogan as well these days. Tammy Cinch says Ambrose has lost her respect. Okay. Cinch continues to make headlines. She ranted about Dean Ambrose on Facebook page. Okay. I used to like Dean Ambrose, but last night I saw the stupid, ridiculous shit he did beforehand, and he lost my respect. Anyone who puts sirens, I don't know what that is, through their cheeks and that hardcore slice and dice bullshit is not a wrestler in my respect. It's pain addicted. It's a pain addict who will do anything for attention. Yes, bitch, I called you out. F. Yeah, and this coming from someone who sold their Hall of Fame ring. Okay. Sting has been forced into retirement due to his injury he suffered in his match against Seth Rollins back in September Night of Champions. Sources told TMZ that Sting was evaluated by several doctors, and they informed him that it's too risky for him to get back in the ring. Sting was formally diagnosed with a spinal condition, the same condition that forced Edge to retire in 2011. Sting is expected to make his official official announcement regarding the retirement at the Hall of Fame in Texas. It's been said that Sting is open to work in a non-physical role with the company, but no formal offer has been made. So his career is over, which is a shame. And it's also a shame as well, guys, because, the career is over, and his one match he had at WrestleMania, he lost. Good one, Triple H. Git. Anyway, let's see if there's any more, things we can talk about as well, any more things where we hear while we can. Apparently WrestleMania 32 has been built as the worst event in history. I beg to differ. How can you say that until you can't say that until you've actually seen it? That's probably the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although it has the potential to be the worst in history. It has the potential to be. But, like I say, expect the unexpected with WWE because they've done some stuff. Rey Mysterio is will make his official Lucha Underground debut very, very soon. Apparently he's joined Lucha Underground. And where we at? WWE dropped the ball with Wade Barrett, apparently, according to a column. See if there's anything interesting on this that we can look at as well. It's admitted because, and it's very true that they did drop the ball with Wade Barrett because this guy was the very first NXT winner when it was a game show, before Triple H got his hands on it and made it into a respectable product. And then he became the leader of the Nexus, and then for some strange reason, some geek came up with the idea, we'll have him break away from that Nexus and go and lead the car. So, what has he done lately? He's a multi-time Intercontinental champion. He's won King of the Ring. The guy never got his due. He never got a shot at the world title, or, a chance to go for the world championship. There was probably many occasions he had a shot at the WWE title and that, but he never had to run with it. He should have won it. And, so you can understand why it's been said that they dropped the ball with him. it really is a shame. It really is. I mean, he has so much talent, and it's basically gone down the toilet. That's all you can say on that. I mean, the stuff that he had, the King of the Ring tournament, which quite frankly wasn't even a King of the Ring tournament. I swear they should bring that back on pay-per-view. I mean, even if it's don't bring it back on pay-per-view. Like I said many times last time I was on a podcast, man. Bring it back on a network show. But if I said this on my podcast, bring it back as a network show. Like they did with, they had these old pay-per-view shows and everything, even though they were showing them on the network, they were still busting them out on pay-per-view and everything for box office or whatever it is they have. And then out of nowhere came Elimination Chamber, unexpected, but it was a good. Something good for the network. They got that. Maybe they'll do that with the King of the Ring. Or at least drop a pay-per-view and bring back King of the Ring. Because King of the Ring needs to come back, man. It really does. I mean, that 1 hour show they had with 3 matches, the 2 semi-finals and the final, fucking stupid. It was like watching a main event show or a superstar show. Give me a break. Yeah, but they definitely need to bring that back. And what's that done? I mean, at the end of the day, the King of the Ring, it's just a gimmick now. That's what it was. It was a gimmick. There's no prestige behind it. There's nothing credible for it. I mean, back in the day, the last ever King of the Ring winner on pay-per-view, when King of the Ring was on pay-per-view, was Brock Lesnar. 2 months later, he got a world title shot and beat Rock at SummerSlam. Start doing that again. They need some credibility back, man. Some prestige. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up part 1 there, guys. I'll be back in part 3 with Smackdown and NXT results as well. And part 2 is the Raw review, so I'll play you the audio for the Raw review. And then in part 3, I'll be back for the NXT and Smackdown. In part 4, it's TNA and Raw and Ring of Honor. Part 5 will be ICW, and then it'll be an outro. I'll be done for another episode. So a lot to come on this podcast. So stay tuned, sit back, relax, and enjoy. See you in a bit. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WMPodcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's at HEAD, back with you for another Raw review, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. Whatever it is you are doing, bear with me just a second. Just doing some checkups. And there you go. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. If you couldn't, I'm just doing little adjustments there, guys. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Just, you know what? I'm going to double check it. Hang on. Anyway, welcome to this Raw review. This is Monday Night Raw, March 15th from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hope you guys are well. And I hope you guys enjoyed Raw. Raw was a little strange for me. A little unique. Apologies for that if you could hear that. These adverts on YouTube, jeez. Raw was very strange in a way. And but it got good towards the end of the show. It's working fine. So Raw was very unique in a way. I don't know. I didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. I've seen Raw. I've got a little bit of it in the background there, but I already know what happened in the main event. Hope you're all well. And it's a little bit cough, I tell you. I saw the beginning of it, which was New Day versus League of Nations. All four, two members of the League of Nations. Probably the two that should have got the title shot at Roadblock, which was Alberto Del Rio and Rusev. They should have got the title shot at Roadblock. But they got a shot at the tag team titles. The numbers game was with League of Nations. The advantage was with League of Nations, but as much as I hate to say it, because I'm not the biggest New Day fan, and if you watch my videos or listen to my podcast, you will understand that. I can't stand New Day, but I'll give them credit. I give the Devils they do. They got the victory. Come hell or high water, they managed to beat the League of Nations. The only thing was they didn't survive the beatdown afterwards. Now, this is the kind of League of Nations I wanted to see, because they were built or put together because Sheamus back in December was the champion. You know, him being the leader, you need your cohorts around there kind of thing, four horsemen thing. But it's starting now to make, it was starting now not to make any sense. But now it's making sense again. Because that beatdown that they gave New Day, that was how a group should be. Make a statement. Let people know you're there. Let people know, oh shit, New Day, they got their asses kicked, kind of thing. That's what it should be about. That's what all groups should do. Up until that point, in my opinion, the League of Nations never did that. They did it on Raw, but at the expense of New Day. And then backstage, later on with Renee Young, they challenged New Day to a match at WrestleMania, which I'm guessing is for the tag team titles. So it should be interesting. But this little feud that's been going on now doesn't seem to be over between New Day and the League of Nations. Jolly old Dean Ambrose comes out and then, talks about what happened at Roadblock, how he was this close to changing the WrestleMania show, making him being the champion and that. And he was very close. And all in all, he got interrupted by Brock Lesnar, his WrestleMania opponent. And then Paul Heyman comes out and tries to control Brock Lesnar, cuts a promo. They go back and forth, him and Dean Ambrose. And then Paul Heyman then says, we'll save it for WrestleMania, walks away. And as Paul Heyman's walking away, Lesnar's got that look on his face like, wait a minute, I'm a fucking beast here. I am waiting a mania, and just walks right the way down the aisle. Heyman comes out to try and stop him, but as he's walking down the aisle, Dean Ambrose opens up his jacket and pulls out a crowbar, and then Lesnar thinks better of it. So I tell you what, there's one match as we know it right now on that card. I'm also looking forward to the Hell in a Cell match to see how that pans out. Hopefully it pans out in a good way. But that is one match I'm most looking forward to at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose. And if you're going into that to expect a wrestling match, don't do it. Because it's not going to be a wrestling match. It's going to be a full-on fight. And I can't wait. Now, Sin Cara drops out to Ryback, and then Ryback, after beating Sin Cara, sends a message to Kalisto and then challenges him to a US title match. We're basically back to square one again, aren't we, with the US title? With Kalisto. And, because Ryback's going to be the US champion at WrestleMania. See, seeing the way the direction now the US title's gone, I miss John Cena. Because he was a better US champion than he's a better US champion than Ryback will ever be. I can tell you that for nothing. But it's a whatever thing for me, that Ryback looking to become US champion. Although Kalisto has beaten him, I just don't think it's going to happen at Mania. Should that match get cleared? Dolph then confronts the Authority, and then they book a match with him and Triple H. And then Stephanie, I think it's Stephanie who, once again, Stephanie doing the talking for her husband. I think Stephanie comes in and goes, oh, yeah, well, and if you win the match, you'll get a match at Mania. He didn't. More on that later. Sami Zayn sends a message to Kevin Owens at the expense of Miz. It looks like it's going to be them two for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. And quite frankly, that match will steal the show. I have no qualms about that. If there's any other match that tops that one, fair play to them. But that match will steal the show. Everybody will be talking about Roman Reigns. Everybody's talking about going into it with Roman Reigns and Triple H. That'll be like Macho Man at WrestleMania 3. WrestleMania 3 was built around Hogan and Andre, but everybody was talking about Ricky Steamboat and Savage. That's exactly what it's going to be like, in a way, at WrestleMania this year. WrestleMania is built around Roman Reigns and Triple H, but I promise you, at the end of it, everybody's going to be talking about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And I'll be damned if they don't, let me tell you. The remaining members of Team Bad, excuse me, the remaining members of Team Bad, Naomi and Tamina, defeated Brie Bella and Alicia Fox. And once again, this continued beef with Lana and Brie Bella continues. What the fuck's it about? I don't know, but it is what it is. Brie Bella and Lana at WrestleMania? If so, put that on the pre-show. Because let's face it, Brie Bella's leaving, so be good way to go. I'll give her a WrestleMania moment, to say goodbye, kind of thing. Apologies if you heard that in the background. It was just my laptop going to do an tap. And then the Usos beat Bo Dallas and Adam Rose of the Social Outcasts. It very much looks like it's going to be the Dudleys and the Usos at WrestleMania in a tag team grudge match. What sense this makes, I don't know. It's a whatever match for me. But, yeah. It is what it is at the end of the day. It is what it is. Will this match benefit WrestleMania? No, I don't think it will. And if it does, I'll come back and admit I'm wrong. But they'd be best off putting these two in the tag team picture, the tag team title picture with New Day and League of Nations, quite frankly. Because I don't see what people are going to get out of this, or what interest this match between, this what looks like it's going to be a tag team grudge match between the Usos and Dudley. I don't know. I really don't know. Triple H and Dolph Ziggler had a hell of a match. Very good match for the time they had on Raw, at least. And Triple H manages to get the win, so Dolph's out of WrestleMania as we know it. However, Triple H got a nice welcomed reunion with one Roman Reigns. That's right, Roman returned looking for payback and basically did exactly the same to Triple H, what Triple H did to him a couple of weeks ago. Beat him up, brawl with him, bounce his head off the announce table like a basketball, and then take it backstage and fight. And it took a number of officials, but it mainly took Rusev, Jack Swagger, and Mark Henry. Not Rusev. The Usos, Jack Swagger, and Mark Henry to calm them down and save it for WrestleMania. So it's very interesting what's going on in that. But once again, Roman Reigns gets booed out of the building. That's all I'm saying on that. John Cena's the John Cena 2.0, as he's now known. Because it's clear as day, WWE, Vince McMahon in particular, is booking him like John Cena. I've said this on many podcasts, and I'll say it right now. Roman Reigns is John Cena 2.0. That's all I'm saying. You guys can have your opinions on that. If you agree, smash the like button. If you don't, you don't. It's your opinion. Neville versus Chris Jericho ended in a disqualification win for Neville, although Jericho is still a little bit pissed off with the fans because they're chanting AJ and he's sick and tired of it, although AJ did come out and gave him a phenomenal forearm. It looks like we're going to have another match between these two at WrestleMania. And obviously, this beef is designed to put AJ over. That's what it is. It's designed to put AJ over. You can't fault that. Anyone who denies that is either ignorant or stupid. But this is designed to put AJ over. And AJ will go over at WrestleMania if these two have a match at Mania again. I would imagine it'll be a lot different from the first three, I would have guessed. Surely. They can't have another one-on-one match. They've got to have a stipulation in that. They can't have another one-on-one match. Surely they got. And then The Undertaker confronts Mr. McMahon and Shane. Undertaker comes out, gets in, Vince does his little speech. And then Shane comes out and basically punks out The Undertaker. And says that he is Vince McMahon's bitch. Which leads to a chokeslam, which Shane manages to get away, fights back. Vince pushes Shane right into The Undertaker's crutches. Shane gets a chokeslam. And then Taker goes after McMahon. McMahon gets out of there while he could. And then Undertaker sends a message to Vince. And, let's just say this. I don't think The Undertaker's working for Vince McMahon. I think he's just doing this because he has to. It's his, playground. WrestleMania is The Undertaker's playground. I don't think he's going to be working for Vince. He's not working for Vince McMahon. But I will say this. Something's going down at WrestleMania. Something big's going down at WrestleMania. That I can assure you. And it's probably going to involve Undertaker turning on McMahon at some point. I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen, but my Google Hangouts just went off there for some strange reason. I don't know why that happened. I'll edit that out once this video goes up. I have no fucking clue why that happened. So I deeply apologize for that. What the fuck was that? Man, seriously. I mean, Google Hangouts, it just goes off air like that. What a time to do it and off. It's fucking idiotic, that. It really is. But anyway, I'm back. And like I was saying, Undertaker is not working for Vince McMahon. However, it seems that The Undertaker is sending a message to both Shane and Vince. And like I said, before I was so rudely interrupted there, The Undertaker will turn on Vince McMahon at WrestleMania. You could see it coming. What the outcome would be, I don't know. But don't get me wrong, I love me some Undertaker. I'm kind of pulling for Shane for this. Because I want him to get rid of this fucking moronic authority. Or as I call it, McMahon Helmsley 2.0. I'm done with the authority. It's stale. It's bland. It's pathetic. It's annoying. It's boring. It has to go. Triple H needs to go back to NXT and just focus on that. That's what he needs to do. But anyway, guys, excuse me. Apologies for that little interruption there. I will sort that out once this video goes up. That I can assure you. As it's getting once this video is processed for the YouTube page, this will be going up on YouTube. Don't worry about that. Why it went off there the way it did, I don't know. But I will sort that out, like I say. Check out the Wrestling Matters podcast, new episode. I'll put the link in the description below. Check out soundcloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast. You can download it off there for free. It'll be going up on Podbean as well sometime this week, so be sure to check that out. And check out this channel for more great content, for more great wrestling content. And hopefully, guys, I will do a WrestleMania live stream. That's what I'm aiming to do. I don't know if I can get it done. I'm not going to do. If I'm going to do it, I don't plan on doing it through this camera. I'll hopefully plan on getting a better camera, but we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Quite frankly, because although laptop cameras are good, they're not the greatest things in the world, are they? Let's face it. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for checking out this video. My name is Anthony Walker. Hope you enjoy the rest of the week. And I'll see you soon. Peace out. If you like the Wrestling Matters Podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters Podcast now on Twitter at WMPodcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the next part of the Wrestling Matters Podcast. Like I said, it's going to be Smackdown and NXT. Hope you enjoyed the Raw review there as well. More Raw reviews this coming week. Actually, tomorrow, in fact. Or tonight, depending how things go. But, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to talk and give the Smackdown main points and results. The Smackdown results, the Smackdown results go as follows. The Big Dog cuts a promo getting ready for WrestleMania. Dolph Ziggler beats The Miz. Dean Ambrose takes Brock Lesnar on the trip on where he came from. Bubba Ray Dudley beats Goldust. Divas champion Charlotte faced her WrestleMania 32 challengers. I'll get to that in a second. Kofi Kingston beats King Barrett. Wade Barrett. Dean Ambrose dared Brock Lesnar to fight him next week on SmackDown after taking out the Social Outcast. He beat the living tar out of them. And Kevin Owens beats AJ Styles with a little help from Chris Jericho. So let's get to the point on the Divas title, because what I saw on this, she was, she wanted forgiveness from what she was saying about Sasha Banks and Charlotte. But it was all manipulation, trying to get them two to fight one another. But the problem was, Banks and Becky didn't fall for it and literally beat the tar out of the Divas champion. Obviously, they're going to face each other as well at WrestleMania because it's a three-way dance. And two people can't be a champion. Not like thinking Hardcore Holly and China did once upon a time with the Intercontinental title. Actually, not Hardcore Holly, Chris Jericho, I apologize. So, one of them's going to be a champion, but they basically outsmarted the champion on SmackDown and beat her up in front of Daddy and, made their impact that they're not going to fall for their crap. Like I say, Dean Ambrose came out later on as well, dared Brock Lesnar to fight him next week on SmackDown. Yeah, despite the fact he came out and literally beat the tar out of the Social Outcast crew, and as we all know, Kevin Owens beat AJ Styles with a little help from Chris Jericho. Jericho hits Styles with a code breaker and mocks the crowd and mocks AJ Styles along the process. So that's basically what went down on SmackDown. Now for NXT. Run through NXT as well. Let's have a look. NXT. Which tag teams are the number one contenders? Well, let's find out. Quick hits on there. So let's find out. It was announced this week as well that Shinsuke Nakamura, the newest member to the WWE clan from the Japan crew, Shinsuke Nakamura will meet Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver in Dallas. We're looking forward to that. Very much so. The Hype Brothers beat Dawkins and Kenneth Crawford. Emma wins her match as well. Tell you what, she's vastly improved from what she was on, in the main roster match. She's come back and she's really found herself, which is very good. Jesse Sorensen gets beat by Tommaso Ciampa, and I'm guessing the main event. Actually, no, I lie. NXT Women's Champion Bayley and Asuka against Eva Marie and Nia Jax, and believe Bayley won that one. I think that's either been done or that's been announced. But anyway, Bayley and Asuka's been announced from guessing TakeOver as well, because I'm hyping that up. And the number one contenders, the American Alpha, defeat the Vaudevillains to be the number one contenders for the tag team titles. So that's pretty much all that went down on SmackDown and NXT. And you know what, guys? Because I can, let's do it. Let's not waste any time. Let's talk about TNA as well. I want to congratulate Drew Galloway, because Drew Galloway is now the TNA, rather. Wow. Focus here, Walker. The TNA Heavyweight Champion of the World. Yes, and I'll explain what happened. Let's have a look as well. NXT results. TNA results, rather. Let's see. 6, right. Let's do this. So, NXT, it was over. That's there. Now it's time for the results of TNA. Now, I'll explain in due time what happened during the whole show and how it got to the point where, Drew Galloway is now the world champion. Eric Young faced Jeff Hardy, and Dixie announced that if whoever won that match would be in the main event as a triple threat match, because it was supposed to be Matt Hardy versus EC3, but Dixie decided to add a little spice to it and made it a triple threat match. Jeff Hardy won the match, but Matt Hardy tried to come out and convince his brother not to participate in the triple threat match, which led to Jeff hitting a twist of fate. Eddie Edwards gets jumped by Decay backstage, and Mike Bennett and Maria challenge Drew Galloway, and I'm guessing Gail Kim, to a mixed tag match, which happens, and Mike Bennett and Maria get the victory. Bobby Lashley's in-ring promo really basically got in the face of Josh Matthews, and he was tired of being overlooked, kind of thing. And Lashley tried to attack Josh Matthews, from what I'm getting here, and Pope tries to get involved, but didn't quite work out for the Pope. That's why he didn't show up. Decay and Beer Money versus Beer Money and Eddie Edwards, which saw Decay get the victory on that. Ethan Carter III and Jeff Hardy have some words backstage. The whole saga between Grado and Billy Corgan starts, and this whole thing with him and Eli Drake, which sees Grado get a match with Eli Drake for a contract, and if the TNA contract ladder match, if Eli Drake grabbed the contract, he'd have the right to rip it up, and Drake would be fired. But Grado won, and yes, Grado's back in TNA, not that he ever left. Now for the main talking point, guys. Now, EC3 challenging and Jeff Hardy challenging Matt Hardy in a triple threat match. Now, don't get me wrong, Matt Hardy managed to get the victory, and he was antagonized, and he antagonized the crowd, and just when he thought he got away with it, Drew Galloway's music hits, he comes out, batters him in the head, headbutts him in the head, batters him in the ring, throws him back in the ring, and Matt Hardy got on him because he cashed the briefcase in. Matt Hardy got on him, started beating him up. Galloway hits him with the big boot, and then hits the Future Shock and gets the world title. So Drew Galloway is now the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. It'd be interesting to see what happens on Raw this week. On TNA this week, finding out what happens, but Drew Galloway is now the World Heavyweight Champion. So that's basically all it is with Smackdown, TNA, and NXT. Hope you guys enjoyed that, which leaves me to talk about Ring of Honor, and also now talk about ICW, and I will do that after the commercial break. I'll start with Ring of Honor, and then I'll start with ICW. So Ring of Honor is next, and ICW, and then an outro, and then some other things as well to look forward to in upcoming episodes of the Wrestling Matters podcast. So hang tight, guys, we ain't done yet.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yes! Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters podcast. Hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. And now we're going to talk about Ring of Honor. And you know what? Since there was not much to talk about, guys, we're going to talk ICW in this part as well. Because in Ring of Honor, there was not much to talk about. Ring of Honor was the whole hour was contested by a tag team gauntlet for the #1 contendership to the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, which saw numerous teams go at it, including Red Dragon, Roppongi Vice, Young Bucks, House of Truth members, Jay Diesel, and a new member, a young guy that I didn't know his name, didn't quite care. He looked like a punk that got off the street, but I would imagine he's now the new young guy that's replacing Donovan Dijak. But they didn't get very far anyway. And Will Ferrara and Caprice Coleman was number 2. Red Dragon were number 1 in this tournament, in this gauntlet rather. And Red Dragon got all the way through until they met the number 4 team, which was the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks basically took it from there. They eliminated and did very well in the tournament as well. They eliminated Red Dragon, got all the way through to the last spot where they faced Roppongi Vice, and Roppongi Vice ended up beating them. So Roppongi Vice got the luck of the draw basically, and they managed to win the gauntlet and are now #1 contenders for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, which should be very interesting to see. And I'm guessing at the moment right now, last I checked, War Machine were the World Tag Team Champions, if my memory serves me correctly. But that was all. That was pretty much to talk about on Ring of Honor's side. As for ICW had the matches today, which were, the matches included, this was from Belfast. Now you might have already been aware of a spoiler for this if you've seen the ICW YouTube page, because Chris Renfrew this is when Chris Renfrew defended the ICW World Heavyweight title against Big Damo, and these two literally beat the snot out of each other. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch the match, and subscribe to ICW ICW's on-demand service to check it out yourself, because these two literally beat the piss out of one another. It got to the point where Damo put Chris in a submission hold, and Chris passed out for Damo to win the match. It was a bloodbath, and it was a hell of a fight too. And Damo, like I say, is now the new ICW heavyweight champion, and I'll be double checking on ICW to see if there's been any more interesting developments as well, but I'll do that later on. The other matches involved Kenny Williams and Joe Coffey, which was very interesting, which saw Joe Coffey get the win with a discus clothesline. Kenny Williams took it to him, but from what I saw at least, Joe Coffey proved to be a little bit too strong for Mr. Williams and gets the victory. Jack Jester beat Grado and then tombstoned him after the match, typical Black Label stuff. Speaking of the Black Label, Drew Galloway also managed to get a win over BT Gunn as well. And Drew Galloway, who is now, as we are talking right now, the TNA heavyweight champion of the world. But all in all, it was a good show in a way from both shows. The reason, like I said, there really wasn't that much to talk about in terms of Ring of Honor, but ICW was okay too. And it'd be interesting to see what happens next week on Friday Night Fight Club, because I'm very interested in this episode, because this episode took place March 6th, because this episode is going to feature or be headlined in a way by Joe Hendry one-on-one with Mr. Anderson. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm sure you've heard it around the globe. Mr. Anderson apparently failed the drugs test and got fired from TNA. And let's just say this, I don't know if they'll show this next week. They might do. I don't know, but I don't know if they'll show this. It's on the air. A fan got it and recorded it, and it's up on YouTube right now. Mr. Anderson says he's done with TNA and says fuck TNA, but that was before we knew the reasons why he was done with TNA, and that was because of the drugs test thing. But at the end of the day, it should be a very interesting episode next week for Friday Night Fight Club. It should be very interesting. Very much looking forward to that indeed. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps this part up. I'll be back after this quick timeout with some promos and some things to look out for in the future episodes of the Wrestling Matters podcast. So stay tuned. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WMPodcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final part. I'll run through some things to look out for next week. Michael Larkin will be back on the show after a good hefty 3 months, man. I mean, he hasn't been on for a while due to busy obligations elsewhere, but he'll be back. And we start another interview next week on the podcast, so look out for that as well. Also, check out Mystery Island, that Mystery Island, back to the island. You know the routine. Facebook and Twitter, check them out. A lot of people coming there very, very soon. You know, Chris Masters being one of them as well. There's a few other stuff as well, so be sure to check them out. For more information, go to there as well. Their website will be on their links as well. Facebook page as well. So be sure to check that out as well. What else is there? A few other things as well. Like I say, you know, I said this earlier on. I'll remind you again. Check out Max Wrestling, Sunday Segway, Offshoot Radio, and Evan McCabe's podcast as well. All them on the Swerve Talk Network as well, family. I think it's Friday. They go through Friday to Monday at least, because I'm on Mondays as well. So be sure to check all that goodness out, all that great stuff out as well. What else is there? I've got a Raw review coming up this week as well. Tomorrow, since it's going out on Monday, it's coming up tomorrow, so be sure to look out for that as well. Whether it'll come out straight after Raw or sometime in the afternoon, I don't know, but we'll see how things go and see what I can do. If I can, I stay up and do that as well. Also, guys, I want to say something as well. I don't know if this is going to go down yet, but I'm doing my damnedest to try so. On the Wrestling Matters channel, I'm trying to get to the point where I'm going to live stream on the WrestleMania show, which is April 3rd. Because no matter what I'm doing April 4th, I don't give a fuck what I'm doing April 4th. I'm staying up to watch WrestleMania. Good, bad, promoted as the worst, I don't give a shit. I will be up, I will be watching WrestleMania because I'm a wrestling fan, and that's what I do, okay? No matter, if there's ever a pay-per-view you should watch, no matter what it is, it's WrestleMania. And I'll be watching that as well, Sunday night, April 3rd. Early hours on Monday morning over in the UK. But I'm also looking to live stream on that as well. Like live stream there, so I can just sit back, relax, watch WrestleMania, and watch you guys' reaction as well. You know, What Culture did it for Roadblock, and they loved it, you know. And alright, they've got a few here and there and everything, so you know, it is what it is. You know, watch WrestleMania. Hopefully, if you guys are watching WrestleMania, hopefully you guys can join in with me as well and watch it as well. You know, while you're watching it, you can watch it and we can discuss it as well. So hopefully I'm looking to do that as well. But I'm not going to be doing it on my laptop, depending on how things go. I might try the laptop, I don't know. I'm aiming to get a better webcam, but like I say, we'll have to wait and see. So we'll see how things go. I'm looking to do that. That's the plan. Whether it will go through or not, I'll let you know in future podcasts. But be sure to check all that as well. And while you're there, check out the AJW Wrestling Matters channel as well for more Raw reviews, weekly podcast, and weekly wrestling content as well. And me just talking about the best thing in the world today, ladies and gentlemen, the world of professional wrestling. Because sports entertainment don't mean shit on this podcast. It is all about pro wrestling. Fuck you if you're down with sports entertainment. Because believe me, Jack, I'm not. For that being said, ladies and gentlemen, check out the headanthonywalker.wix.com/AW Matters for more information on the Wrestling Matters podcast as well. While you're there, check out the headanthonywalker.net as well. And my name is Anthony Walker. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for your support. Enjoy your rest of the week. Enjoy the wrestling that goes on this week. Tune in next time for another edition of the Wrestling Matters podcast. And until then, I bid you a fond farewell, ladies and gentlemen. Safe journey, whatever you're doing. Enjoy the rest of the week. And I'll see you next time. Peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes, 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 yes!
That's 13-14!
Cena, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold Simpson.